Ladies and gentlemen, through time and space, disagreements are known to disunite man. But here on the Great Debaters Contest, we bring together over 500 schools across 10 regions to do one thing, debate. This is the Great Debaters Contest Season 9. I am your host, Chris Boru.
And I am Esperanza Kapanga. In today's debate, we will be discussing the motion, women and men must compete alongside each other for political positions.
And the proposition, we have the lovely ladies from Dandora Girls High School.
And funny enough, in the opposition, it's gentlemen from Starehe Boys Center. Proposal number 1, you have 3 minutes to make a statement.
According to the Constitution of Kenya, Chapter 4, Part 2, Article 27, it states, men and women have the right to equal treatment, including the right to equal opportunities in political, economic, cultural, and social spheres. From the Dandora Girls School, I am Cynthia Wamboi, and I am here to strongly, and I repeat, strongly propose the motion that men and women must compete alongside each other for political positions. Let me profound on the terms. A woman is an adult female human, while a man is an adult male human. To compete is to strive to gain or win something by defeating or establishing superiority over others. According to CNN Politics, women's representation in local governments can make a difference. Research on local councils in India discovered that the number of drinking water projects in areas with men-led councils was 62% higher than those led with men. What does this show? Women also have the best leadership skills. As of January 2017, only 18.3% of government officials were women. The most commonly held portfolio by women ministers are natural resources, such as social affairs, education, and the family. That is why in India you find that the areas with women-led councils was 62% higher because the women can lead those water projects in a more responsible way. Americans generally want more women in politics, in part because they say women will govern differently. In the United States, women played a bigger role in the midterm elections than they have in any other election in history. A record of 255 women ran for office, and out of these, 177 won. Let's switch gears to our beloved country, Kenya. The Honorable Deputy President, Dr. William Ruto, said regarding the 2/3 gender rule, which is yet to be passed in Parliament, and I quote, "You male MPs should be the last to stand in the way of our mothers and daughters." What does this show? The Honorable Deputy President also supports women leadership. Currently, the women in politics in our country are Margaret Kenyatta, our beloved First Lady, Amina Mohamed, Cabinet Secretary for Sports, Charity Ngilu, Gladys Wanga, Aisha Jumwa, and so on. From Dandora Girls, thank you.
You have 3 minutes to represent yourself.
Thank you very much. My name is Clifford Tambo from Starehe Boys Center. Now, today's motion is very interesting. Men and women must compete alongside each other for political positions. Now, mark my words, must compete. Now, when we say that they must compete, we mean that it is non-negotiable that they should, or rather have to compete. Now, what is the meaning of compete? To compete is to strive knowingly or unknowingly for an objective, either in a state of rivalry or in merit. What is the meaning of alongside? It means in equal platform as. Now, this definition brings me to the position of identifying two major terms which I must also define. One is gender equality. Gender equality means that, or rather states that, members of both genders should enjoy their fair and equal economic, social, and political rights. Another term, gender equity. Gender equity states that the extent, or rather, this is the extent to which both genders legally enjoy same rights. My team over here is for gender equity, not gender equality. Why? Picture out this. You have two persons. One is short and the other is tall. Now, gender equality is bringing the two persons, one here, the other one here. They have to reach mango trees which are on top of the mango tree. Now, you put 2 blocks over here and 2 blocks over here. That is gender equality. But gender equity is putting 3 blocks on the shorter person and 2 blocks on the taller person so that each of them may reach the mango trees, or rather the mangoes on the mango tree. My friends over here are for gender equity. Mark my words, gender equity, not gender equality. Now, this also brings me to my first point, the minority concern. Women, we must say this, have been seen as the minority since time immemorial. Now, after the implementation of the basis for gender equality by Men for Women initiative, in accordance to Sustainable Development Goal number 5, the National Democratic Institute on Wednesday, 27th of February 2018, released the following statistics. That out of all the contestants who are women in the 2017 election, 6.4% were elected as governors, 6.4% again as senators, 7.9% as members of parliaments, and 6.6% as members of county assemblies. Now, these totals up to 27.3% out of the possible, if we are to fight for gender equality, 50%. Now, that means that gender equality has failed on our part. Let us embrace gender equity. Men and women must not compete alongside each other for political positions. Thank you very much.
Second proposal, you have 3 minutes for cross-examination.
When women and men are put together, a wounded nation is healed. Jerusha Mwaura, ready to propose this motion. I would like to rebuttal my friend here. By the way, thanks for joining us in proposing the motion. Why? You have started by telling us how women are elected into the parliament. The percentage of women that were elected into the parliament. That means that you are into women and men competing together. So, it's time women stop being flower girls. What do I mean with women stop being flower girls? It means women to stop being nominated, for them to go down there and search for votes together with men. Also, I believe that women and men should compete together so that men can stop being lingerers. This is because when a man sees that there is no woman that is trying to vie for a particular position, the man tends not to bring development in the region that he's leading. Why? Because he knows at the end of the term, his fellow man will continue, or they will strive for the political positions together. So when a woman will try and come in between, men, by the way, fear ladies. Yes, men fear women because they know women have potential. And if you're a woman and you believe you don't have potential, raise your hand. Of course, none will dare because you know it's true. Also, I would like to say that women bring much development. This is because as they are created, women are created with a motherly heart. God put the heart of a mother in a woman. So this means that when a woman will get hold of a certain region, she will develop it and nurture it just like the way she will nurture a child of her own. Let's take, for example, the governor, Charity Ngilu. Look at the development that she has taken into her county. The water projects, the empowering of women empowering of children and giving the unfortunate bursaries. Isn't that a progress that she has made? Look at someone called Aisha Jumwa. Who doesn't know her? Of course, a very few number doesn't know her. I believe you know how she strongly stands with what she believes in, no matter how wrong or right she is. I believe that men and women should be given equal rights to vie for their political positions. Thank you.
Second opposer, you have 3 minutes for cross-examination.
Thank you very much. My name is Emmanuel Kirimi from Starehe Boys Center. Well, a few sentiments have been said by the proposition which I would like to correct. First and foremost, to say that, we went ahead to support you when our first opposer gave some facts. Now, I couldn't help but notice, on most of those positions, the dominant percentage was 6.4%. 6.4% of the 100% of women who vied for these positions. Of all women who vied for positions politically, only 6.4% were fortunate to get them. And yet you say that so many women have gotten these positions? The first proposer said that the Constitution dictates that men and women should receive equal opportunity. Yes, and the same Constitution states that women are part of the marginalized groups. Now this goes on to be supported by the facts our first opposer put on the table. Furthermore, I couldn't help but notice the strife and the battle between the genders that was evident here, so much so that the proposition sought to prove that women are better than men. We need to look at the effect that this will have on our people. Remember what our old adages state of this, that when two buffaloes fight, it is the grass that will suffer. When two genders decide to shift from focusing on serving the people and battling for gender supremacy, it is the people who will suffer from inefficient services brought forth to them. Well, I went on to say that, women are part of the marginalized group as the Constitution supports. And yes, we do agree that women have not been denied the right to vote since independence. And yes, they have not been denied the right to contest for these seats, but they have suffered from psychological marginalization. Just take it this way. It is evident that usually when a woman tries to contest for a seat, so many people try to put her down, try to tell her, get back to her place, and all these kind of things. They seek to discourage her. This psychological marginalization, ladies and gentlemen, is what makes the fight between women and men an unfair one. The first opposer put it very clearly and distinguished between gender equality and gender equity. Well, for the time being, we have to agree that the feminine gender for now might be considered the weaker one, or rather the shorter one. We cannot afford to simply give them equal opportunity. If both of them stand on level ground, they shall not be able to access the mangoes, as our first opposer had put it. And what happens? The issues affecting women, who will address them? Men? Obviously not. Now, the psychological marginalization is also evident in results in our Council of Governors. There are only 3 of 47 governors who are female. 3 only. And we need to ask ourselves one major question. Is this the kind of society we need? We do agree that women and men may have the same capabilities, but as of now, they do not have equal opportunity and equal stands on our political arena. Thank you.
For the question session, each side has been asked to give proof of statements they have made before. The proposers after saying that men fear women. The opposers after saying that women are the weaker gender. So each side should prove each of their statements. Proposer number 3, you have 3 minutes to respond.
Behind every man's success, there's a woman. I love to answer your questions. The boy from Morphosis, I can't remember your name. My colleague said that men tend to fear women. What she meant is that a man is afraid of a woman because, like in the political positions, when a man is vying and the woman is vying for the same seat, and the woman is making the progress with the voters, a man is tending to have a lot of fear because, he knows that if she gets in the seat, that's it for me. Thank you. Okay, Evelyn Kimote from Dandora Girls, standing in front of you, strongly proposing the motion that says women and men must compete alongside each other for political position. And I would love to emphasize on the word must. To my first point, in Rwanda, more than 61% are women, in the political position. In Tanzania, 37%, and in Uganda, we have 34%, meaning that we have a great progress in women becoming political leaders. In the near future, we as women are going to lead this world in appropriate positions. In a big capacity of cases, just recently, Governor X was arrested because of corruption, and the government is still investigating on what he's doing, and corruption is a big, a massive thing in political positions. Pardon me. And the current president of Liberia, Ellen Johnson, is a woman, and she's leading her country with pride and courage. Whatever she says is what is put to test. The executive director of the UN observed. Mlambo observed, where there are women in decision making, we can see more inclusive decisions, and we find, we can see progress in decision making. What I'm saying is that where we have women in decision making is we have a good progress, I can say, because most so in the political positions, men have given us some decisions that we as Kenyans, I can say, have not liked them. Thank you.
Proposers, you have 3 minutes to respond to your question.
Alvin Onchiri of the Starehe Boys Center and School. Now, with a view to answer the question posed on me, I will restate the motion. Women and men must compete alongside each other for political positions. The questions were, women are weak, and that in other countries like the Netherlands, women have not been seen as weak. In other words, they have taken up leading roles in their countries. Now, we did not say that women are weak. We say that women are not on the same level as men in this country, in the political arena. This is because, according to statistics, in the year 2017, when Kenya had its general elections, 6.4% of the women who vied for gubernatorial seats, only 6.4% of them were able to secure these seats. And among those who vied for seats as members of parliament, only 77.9% of these women were able to secure these positions. I hope and I believe that your question was answered. To begin with, let us look at the keywords in this motion. Women and men must compete. This means that women and men in our country are being restricted to competition as the only way to show, but to be able to get political leaders. Yet there are other ways, such as nomination. This neglects the 2/3 gender rule in our country. The 2/3 gender rule states that not more than 2/3 of a certain gender, men or women, must have positions in a certain system. The proposition side, the first proposer, said that in the USA, out of the 280 women who took part in the United States general elections, only 155 of them were able to secure seats as leaders. In any society where there's competition, not everyone will secure seats. So that means that those people who are not able to be elected through competition to be our political leaders are to sit back, sit on their talent, because no other platform has been put forth for them to show that they can lead. As we say that women and men must compete with each other, a solution for competition, not competition, but rather we can use nomination. According to Eric Wainaina's report in 2013, out of the women who are nominated, many of them stood on this post and used it to get into the electoral political arena in 2017 and secure posts as elected leaders. We should join up. Women and men must not compete with each other to secure political positions. There are other methods that have been proven and that are effective. Thank you.
Proposers, you have 1 minute to make a final submission.
Well. The third opposer, you should pay attention to my numbers. I said 255 women were the ones who competed, and out of these, 177 won. I would also like to remind my opponents here that what a man can do, a woman can do better, right? Much has been said, but the conclusion still remains. Women can also be leaders. Inequality is a global crisis that needs to stop. It takes the effort of not only one person, but all people in the globe should help to fight this crisis. I implore you all to join us, Dandora Girls School, in supporting the motion. Women and men must compete alongside each other for political positions. Thank you.
Opposers, you have 1 minute to make a final submission.
Thank you once again. My name is Emmanuel Kirimi from Starehe Boys Center. Well, indeed, the motion is quite controversial, but one thing has to be made clear, that the level of men and women in the society as it is right now is not the same. And that is why our team believes that we have to set first things first. And it is this that developed nations that have been pointed out by members of the audience have managed to do. Let us achieve gender equity first. Let us make sure that women and men can first of all have an equal way, or rather equal abilities, to take advantage of the opportunities we present before them. That they may be able to take advantage of the leadership posts and the good laws that we shall assign that will enable them to run for these seats. That they shall be able to do all these things because we put first things first, gender equity. After which, we shall achieve gender equality with ease, because both of them will have the same means of taking advantage of the opportunities before them, and they will have the same opportunities before them. Emmanuel Kirimi, Starehe Boys Center. Thank you.
From the first speaker to the last speaker, in both teams, we would start off very strongly. However, by the time we get to the last speaker, there was a bit of less confidence, and therefore that gave your teams shaky ground. So you want to make sure when you're preparing that your first speaker is just as good as your last speaker, and your last speaker is just as good as your first speaker, so that you don't end up losing points on any of the levels. So one question I had for the both teams, this motion was not limiting to Kenya alone. It was not until, I think, around the third speakers that I started to hear examples of Liberia and outside of Kenya. I felt like we were really limiting and boxing ourselves to one thing, while there are countless examples where if you on this side, women have excelled, even when they have been given equal opportunities, and on the other side, women have excelled when they have been given a little bit of help, what you talked about, equity, when they have been, when they are vying for political positions. I also was really looking out for why. When you say that they are equal. Everybody should go on the battleground and, get your political seats just as the other person did. Why? What are the strong points behind it? Have you seen countries where that has worked? You mentioned examples of the First Lady in Kenya being a leader. You mentioned examples of former president of Liberia. So now I wanted you to talk about what are the successes that they have been able to amass that should convince us that give a woman equal chances to be able to fight for their positions, and you can see they can stand for themselves. On this other side, I was waiting for us for you to mention the aspect of what are the reasons behind they are not being able to get as large percentages in terms of political positions. What are those reasons? And then make them valid enough for you to convince us that we need to give them 3 blocks and not 2 blocks as we give the other side or the men in that particular platform. So I was waiting to hear that. And then also on this side, I waited for us to talk about the girl child has been empowered for so long. Isn't it about time now we say, you're just as empowered as a boy child, you need to go out there. So there are so many things we could have picked from, some of them very current, some of them from examples from years ago that could have strengthened your points. So like my colleague has said, it was wanting, a little bit wanting. However, I wish you both the best.
Starehe boys, the judges awarded you 68%. Let's give them a round of applause. Dandora Girls High School, the judges awarded you 63%. Let's give them a round of applause. Congratulations to Starehe Boys Center for being the winners in this debate, and good show to the both teams.
Thank you very much for viewing this debate today. Remember, the debate is over, but the conversation still continues across all our social media platforms. The hashtag is GDC for SDGs. I have been your host, Esperancia Kapanga.
And I am Chris Boru. See you next time.